Hello there everybody, welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. Today I've got a really cool lightsaber. It is one of my favorite characters from the prequel movies, and it might be one of your favorite characters because he's the badass of badasses. That is Darth Maul, baby. Let's take a look at this bad boy. So as you can see, I got a couple of new little things here. I moved around a few things in the display, and I finally was able to put up my Boba Fett, and I just bought Darth Vader at Target, which was really cool. What else we got there? We've got the couple more. We got Mandalorian here. There he is. Mandalorian here. We got another Mandalorian helmet over there. So anyway, we're here to talk about this Darth Maul lightsaber. So this I got at Vaders Sabers. This is a Golden Harvest board. And yes, this actually is two pieces. So there are two soundboards in here. Super awesome. I'll show you how to get the chassis out of both in here because there are two chassis. So this is going to be really cool. Again, this is the Golden Harvest one, and I went with this version because I've been really enjoying where the Golden Harvest stuff is going. I like the fact that I can kind of just get into the Golden Harvest and kind of edit the blades and, you know, fiddle around a little bit more than I can with the other ones. So this is really cool. All right, getting into the box here. We've got, so these are a little bit of a smaller blade. I believe these are 32 inches, simply because this is a double saber, and having the 36s for me in this tiny little room, you know, even in any of the other rooms or even out back, it's so big. That's what she said, I guess, right? I mean, just look at the size. Let me open this up all the way. This is just the blades. You know, they almost go from end of the frame to the end of the frame here. And then you put the saber actually in the middle. It's ginormous. It's probably close to 6 feet tall. All right, so it looks like we got battery charger. We've got some extra rubber gaskets, or whatever you want to call these things. Then we've got some extra screws and an Allen wrench there. And we've got my favorite acrylic stand, blade plugs, and these two little thingamabobs here, which I'll show you where these go. These actually go inside the saber. Then we've got all your directions and everything here. There's a lot. So yeah, you can see there is a lot of settings. It's 3 pages. But at the end of this video, and down below and in the description, I do have a Golden Harvest tutorial which will walk you through step by step. Now keep in mind, these are two sabers, so every setting that you'll see in that video goes to one saber, and you can just do the same thing to the other side. So it'll be a full walkthrough. I'll put all of that information down below for you. So first and foremost, before we go anywhere, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to get the chassis out so you can charge the batteries and get them you know, reinstalled, because it was a little tricky at first, but I did it a couple times and I really got used to it. So you'll notice here, so let's just put this back in here. You'll notice that in the middle there is a little ring. Okay, so what we're going to do is pull this apart so that it's two different sabers. All right, on this side we have a cup link right here that attaches these two. So we also want to take that off. We're just going to unscrew this here like that. All right, I'm just going to put that right on the side there. So inside you'll see both of the chassis. You have that little metal dot right there in the middle. That's actually something that you can grab onto. So what we're going to do is that on these you'll see these silver ones. All right, these you actually have to unscrew because that's kind of what's holding the chassis in there. All right, and then just go right on in, and you're just going to pull the chassis right out. All right, now you're going to do the same thing for the other one. You want to unscrew the silver screws here because that's what's holding the chassis in. Stick your fingers in there and just pull those out. Now there are a couple of ways you can charge these things. You can pull the battery out because it comes with a charger, or here if you have some of these plugs laying around. I forget exactly what they're called. I'll look it up and I'll put it on the screen. You can actually plug this chassis right into USB power or the wall or anything like that, and that'll make your life 1,000 times easier. Or you can just pop the battery right out and, whoops, or you can just pop the battery right out and plug it right into the chargers that it comes with. All right, to reinstall this, it was a little tricky at first because you have to line everything up. So my way of doing it is there's on the side here, you'll see a little groove, a little crevice there. That you want to line up to the screws, okay? But on the bottom, you have a larger circuit and a smaller circuit. So at the bottom of these, you'll also see that way down inside is the connection for this. So just look in here and just match it up to which side is the larger and which side is the smaller, and you're just going to slide this right in to line up. So let's see. All right, so the side with the screws is the larger side. So you got the larger on the top, small at the bottom, and you're going to line the little crevice here. You're just going to line that up with the bolt, and it should slide in pretty easy. And you get it, and it should just kind of click right in. There you go. All right. And you'll feel it just kind of nudge in. If you have to, you can just stick your fingers in here and just kind of turn just a little bit with a tiny, tiny bit of pressure, and you'll feel it just kind of give while it goes in there. All right, so we got the chassis in, so then we just want to tighten it down a little bit with these silver turning knob thingies here. All right, and then you have these little washer type pieces. They screw in right here, but I'm actually going to leave those out for now because I may have to take this apart a couple times just for demo purposes here. All right, so let's do it real quick with the other side. We're going to take the large on the bottom and just make sure we're lined up. The large will be facing the screws on the top. And we're just going to slide that right in there. All right, wiggle it around if you have to, just to nudge it in. Boom, perfect. All right, screws down, and we are pretty installed. So to connect the two Sabers, we have this kind of connector coupling type thing, all right? And on here, there is this free-floating, well, I guess we'll say this is another washer, all right? So from what I gather, the use of this is to be able to clock the Sabers together so that all of the buttons line up, all of these little red screws and silver screws. So we're going to screw one end on here. Okay. Let's get the other one here. And I'm going to show you what I mean by clocking the Sabers correctly with this washer. Okay, so I didn't do any adjustments, and now what you're going to notice is that the red screws and silver screws now do not line up with that. And how they should be from the movies is all lined up. So with this washer in the middle here, we're going to untighten this a little bit, all right, and then we're going to move the washer up and down. So we're just going to screw it a little bit until we can get this almost tightened. All right, let's go back just a hair more. Screw that over. All right. Now, because of this washer, we were able to clock everything correctly. So everything is all nice and perfectly lined up now. So now without that washer in the middle, it'll be all kind of wonky and, you know, it'll be sideways and everything. Whoop. It'll be all sideways and everything. So you want to make sure that you do adjust this so that the Saber does look correct. So the end parts, the emitter, these do unscrew a little bit. So in case you have to adjust where the Allen screw is, you can kind of unscrew, let me show you, and kind of move this around so that you can actually line that up correctly. So we'll just do that right here. That looks good. And then let's just tighten that back down. All right, blade in. Tighten you down. It's huge. It's huge. You're like barely get it in the frame. Oh, forget it. I can't do anything in this room with this. All right, so this is a single button Golden Harvest. So over here at the end by the emitter, we have two tactile buttons. We have a smaller one, which does not do anything. And then we do have the larger one. That's the ignition on both ends. So we have one here and one here. So, but what's cool about it is that we have gesture control. So all we have to do is give a little twist. All right, now I gotta be unbelievably careful in here because of the lights and the camera and stuff like that. Let me see if I can walk all the way back here. All right, you could see pretty much head to toe all of me. And this is next to me here. And can you even see the top of that? I don't even know, it might be getting cut off. All right, again, I'm 5'10". This has gotta be 6'3", 6'2" maybe. Maybe 6'5", I don't even know. It's crazy. Now, for demonstration purposes only, I hope you don't hate me and I hope you don't flip the video off, but I'm gonna take one side off because I won't be able to move this at all in here with a 6'3" staff. All right, so we have half of the Maul saber here. So again, this is the Darth Maul Golden Harvest board inside. It's the GHv3. All right, so at the end of the video, I'll have a link to a full tutorial that you can kind of learn everything you need about this lightsaber. For this video, we're just gonna go over the sound fonts. We'll pull up a few. I'm gonna show you how to change the color and the volume, and everything else will be on the other video. That way it's a lot easier to kind of sort through everything. All right, to access the sound fonts, we have two buttons here. The top is nothing. The bottom, since this is a single button, this basically does everything here. Okay, so for sound fonts, we're just gonna hold the button down for 2 seconds and let go. So 1, 2.
Sound menu.
All right, and then to get to the sound fonts, you just turn.
Son of darkness,
Eternal Prince,
the phantom, the shadow, shadows, dark harvest.
The classic villain.
So once you pick your sound, you're just gonna hold that button again for 2 seconds. There you go, you are locked in. So we got gesture controls. Super awesome. So sometimes you'll notice it'll do these kind of little shows at the beginning and sometimes at the end, depending on how you hold the saber. So let's try to do an off. See, it does kind of like a little flutter. And then if you hold it straight, so it's really kind of how you hold it and everything. It's really cool. Then we got the typical smooth swings, which are beautiful. We've got flash on clash. Right, then we have all the melts and all that. We got blaster sounds. Then we've got things like force push, where you hold the button down, we give a little swing. All right, you can see it's changing color and fluctuating through the lights and everything. Now, all of this stuff you can completely edit, and I go over that in the tutorial video. So at the end of this, if you have a Golden Harvest or you're going to get this, definitely go check out that video because all of these settings are going to be in there. Now, let's change the color. We're going to go back to our activation button here. I'm going to hold it for 2 seconds and then push again. All right, so it's 1, 2, push. Okay, there we go. 1, 2.
Choose color profile.
All right, and to change the color, simple as just turning the dial. All right, let's take a peek at some of the other sound fonts just so you know what's on here, all right? So 1, 2.
Sound menu.
1, 2.
Sound menu.
Knighthood,
1, 2.
Sound menu.
balance,
So keep in mind, when you're adjusting this whole thing while it's put together, every setting you put in here won't happen here. So you have to go over to the other saber and adjust the exact same thing so that it matches for you. So just as a sample, we have that one set, and let's go set the other one now.
Sound menu.
take a peek, make sure we're good. And we're going to set a quick blade style to it. So to edit the blade styles, we've got to get the blade on. All right, and then we're going to do this twice. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Blade effects.
Okay, blade effects. Editing the blade effects are as simple as turning or pushing the button. So let's just do this.
Classic 2.
You can see what it's doing on my shirt here.
Classic 3.
All right, we're just going to stick with Classic 3. Set that in by holding the button. All right, now we got to do the same exact thing to the other blade. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Blade effect.
All right, blade effect, and we're going to go to Classic 3.
Classic 2. Classic 3.
All right. All right, that's set in. So we got the same exact pulsing on both sides. I'm going really slow because I'm going to slam into cameras and lights and, oh, this room, I tell you. All right, there's just like 2 other things I want to show you real quick. The volume and the battery, and everything else will be in the tutorial for you. An important thing, check the battery level. All right, so what you're going to do is hold down the button and give a really good stab. All right, so hold the button.
Checking power level. 100% left.
So that was 100% because I just charged the batteries. And as it goes, you'll see the dark just kind of take over, and you'll only have the red where you are. So it'll say, you know, 100%, 90%, 70%. Really cool, great visualization. So the volume is pretty easy. You just tip over a little bit, hold the button for 1 second.
Volume control activated.
All right, another visualization. You just turn, volume all the way up, all the way down. And then click the button to activate it.
Volume adjusted.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop down, give a like, subscribe, and click that notification button. We will have a giveaway coming up at 10,000 subscribers. And as always, I'll see you on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world.